Yeah, I don't know what happened to Hooters. It was everywhere, especially on social media. Then they got involved in that lawsuit and then they sort of disappeared after that.
300,000 women have worn these orange shorts and tank tops since 1983 while serving chicken wings to dudes pretending they're coming for the sports atmosphere. These women worked as waitresses in a restaurant that literally started as an April Fool's joke between 6 Florida friends thinking it would be hilarious when they're...
Well, let's be honest, guys. Chicken wings, boobs, sports, all those things at one place. Men really are simple creatures, no matter how you look at it. Some people don't like it, but that's just the way it is.
Stupid idea failed. Plot twist, it didn't fail. It made them millionaires.
Yeah.
It's like texting your ex I miss you as an April Fool's joke and ending up married with a mortgage. These accidental geniuses invented an entire category of restaurants called breastaurants, and I swear I'm not making this up. Your kids will learn about it in business school. They went from one joke restaurant to 420 locations worldwide. They defeated a $22 million lawsuit from the US government using methods so ridiculous that Congress started laughing. They even started their own airline because why not fly when you're already selling
Hooters Air? Wow.
chicken
I didn't even know
wings?
that.
Today they're filing for bankruptcy because of one little mistake. And it's probably not what you think. It's not because of cancel culture or whatever your uncle blames everything on, so buckle up.
We can see why the cancel culture aren't happy with Hooters. You know, back in the day, we actually had a bit of fun because that's what Hooters is. It's just a bit of fun. The customers know why they're there. The waitresses know why they're there. It's all a bit of fun. They know who their target audience is, but the cancel culture, of course, are going to try and stop that, aren't they?
Because this story is about to get more uncomfortable than your dad suggesting Hooters for your mom's birthday dinner. It is October 2025, and you are watching Wee Pig. I wasn't exaggerating when I said this started as a joke. 6 friends in Clearwater, Florida with 0 restaurant experience filed incorporation papers on April Fool's Day 1983. They literally chose April 1st because when it failed, they could say, it was just a prank, bro.
Well, they probably all were sat around having some beers and they said, why don't we start our own restaurant? And they probably thought it wasn't going to go anywhere. And it could have gone south for them, but it didn't. They knew the formula. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Their combined restaurant experience was eating at restaurants. That's it. And all they wanted, and I'm quoting them directly here, was a place they can't get kicked out of. That's the entire business plan. So they built their ultimate man cave. Cold beer, chicken wings, enough TVs to watch every sport simultaneously, and breasts. And no, not chicken breast.
Well, right here, these 4 things is enough to make a lot of money. If you've got these 4 simple things at a restaurant. And like I said, I knew what they were doing. In the formula sense, they knew what they wanted to advertise, even if they didn't have any restaurant experience. These 4 things would make any business owner a lot of money.
I mean, you know, Hooters girls in orange shorts and tight white tank tops. In 1983, they found the perfect location for their terrible idea. A rundown former nightclub on Gulf to Bay Boulevard. This place was so cursed, it had killed more restaurants than Gordon Ramsay's reviews. But instead of running away like sensible humans, these madmen bought it on the cheap and built an actual graveyard with tombstones for all the dead.
Sounds like a smart idea if you ask me.
Dead restaurants that failed there before them. Meanwhile, co-founder Ed Drosty was conducting some very professional market research at a local bikini contest. He spotted 22-year-old Lynn Austin.
He had to do it. He had to do it. He did.
This man walked up to a stranger at a bikini contest and said, "You're going to be world famous with Hooters," which, out of context, sounds like either a threat or a pickup line that should get you pepper sprayed. But Austin actually believed this random guy's pitch. She quit her stable phone company job to serve wings for $5 an hour.
Well, back when we could say beer, football, attractive women is what a man wants. You know, now we can't say that because the cancel culture deems that as misogynistic, it's sexist and all that. And from what I've heard from people that have been there, I'm sure some of you have, to my American viewers, right? It's changed a lot now from what it used to be. You guys have to let me know if that's true or not.
Remember this woman's name, because she's about to accidentally save this entire ridiculous operation. On October 4th, 1983, the first Hooters opened its doors in Clearwater.
All right.
The first few weeks were about as successful as my dating life, which is to say, completely dead. But these 6 Florida men had a secret weapon. Absolutely zero shame and possibly a direct line to the luck gods. Ed Drosty kicked off their marketing strategy by squeezing into a giant chicken costume and running through traffic. But Drosty wasn't done. When a boat sank near Clearwater, normal people called the Coast Guard. Drosty grabbed spray paint and swam out to tag Hooters on the wreck. He literally turned a naval tragedy into free advertising. And remember Lynn Austin? She became Playboy's Miss July 1986.
That's probably the best advertising right there. Yeah.
Suddenly, Hooters was in every teenage boy's hidden magazine stash across America. That's marketing money can't buy. Oh, there's one marketing stunt coming that's so catastrophically stupid it ended in a lawsuit. But I'm saving that disaster for later, because we are still in the 80s now. By 1993, just 10 years after the April Fool's prank, they hit 100 restaurants and $200 million in sales. $200 million in revenue from selling essentially the same things every sports bar sells, with one difference: the uniform. Those orange shorts were generating millions per square inch of fabric. This explosive success spawned a legion of copy.
It's true, even in the UK, where I'm at Halloween, you'd always see girls going out dressed up in the Hooters uniform. You could see it from a mile off. Even when there isn't any Hooters in the UK, everyone knew what it was. It had that iconic, unique look to it. Yeah, they real nailed it. And like I said at the start, men are simple creatures. The chicken wings, the sports, all at one place. Guys are going to go there and spend their money.
Cats with names that sound like a 13-year-old search history. You have Melons, Mugs and Jugs, and Knockers. The term restaurant became an actual business category. By 1995, Hooters claimed they were to wings what McDonald's was to burgers. And these copycats were the "we have McDonald's at home" of restaurants. I can hear you whispering behind your screen now, saying, this is going suspiciously good. What could go wrong?
Right.
And that's a very good question, my dear smart viewers. By the early 90s, Hooters discovered that building a business on orange shorts might attract some legal attention. Feminist groups looked at Hooters like I look at my credit card statement.
Yeah, well, I think we all knew that was coming. And I bet the business owners, even back then, when it wasn't, people didn't bark about those things as much as they do now. You know, you can't make a joke or do anything fun or appreciate beautiful women or men working out apparently is fat phobic. It's on both sides right now. And we're in the snowflake pandemic. I bet they experience that too.
With horror and disbelief, lawsuits started dropping. The 1993 Minnesota case was particularly spicy. 3 ex-waitresses claimed the work environment was more hostile than a Twitter comment section. Without getting my video demonetized, let's just say the workplace culture needed adjustments.
But the girls applying for that place knew what they were getting into. It's not like they were forced to work there. They knew what they were getting into.
Their attorney demanded Hooters change its name and cover up its servers. You're basically asking them to delete their entire business model.
Yeah.
But wait, these lawsuits were just the tutorial level. The main course of legal disaster was about to be served by the actual U.S. government. The bigger war was with the U.S. EEOC. These are the people who make sure nobody discriminates at work. In 1991, someone at the EEOC was having a slow day and decided, wait a minute, where are all the male Hooters girls? Hooters had this crazy policy where men could be cooks, managers, bartenders, but not Hooters girls, which...
For obvious reasons, right? It's pretty obvious why they haven't done that.
Given the name, seems obvious. Like it's literally called Hooters Girl, not Hooters Person. But the EEOC wasn't having it. After 4 years of investigation, 4 years of your tax dollars investigating orange shorts, they declared in 1995 that, and I quote, "no physical trait unique to women is required to serve food," which is true. They demanded Hooters pay $22 million to disappointed male applicants whose dreams of being Hooters girls were crushed by biology and corporate policy. $22 million is a lot of money, and it could break the peak of the business. Well, let me explain how.
they've got better chances selling the business and closing it down than literally having male waiters and changing the name and the whole image. It was pretty obvious the audience they were going for. And of course, there's people out there that find that stuff offensive, of course, especially nowadays, but not really surprised. They want to ruin it for everyone else, right?
How they turned getting sued by the government into their best marketing campaign ever. Instead of quietly settling like a normal company, Hooters spent $1 million on what I can only describe as the greatest comeback in corporate history.
All right.
They hired a burly, hairy dude named Vince and put him in the full Hooters girl uniform. Then came Operation Save Our Jobs, which sounds like a military operation but was actually 100 Hooters girls invading Washington, D.C. These women were handing out free food to anyone with a pulse and a press badge. Public opinion did a complete 180. The EEOC went from righteous defenders of equality to the fun police trying to put hairy men in short shorts.
It's exactly that. It's the fun police of trying to spoil everything. You know, back in the good old days, guys, when, you know, people could actually have fun. I know that word is quite rare now.
In 1996, the EEOC basically said, you know what, never mind, and moonwalked out of the courtroom. They dropped everything. They entered the 2000s like a champion boxer who just won by punching the referee himself. By 2003, Hooters had more than 400 locations, and someone at corporate had apparently mixed Red Bull with spicy chicken wings because they announced, "We're starting an airline." Hooters Air was real, and it was spectacular. They put Hooters girls in orange shorts at 30,000 feet where it's colder than your ex's heart. The routes, perfect for cheating husbands. Atlanta to Myrtle Beach.
They've given the safety net to a lot of people. Like, they've done the same with the airline, because guys are going to say, oh, I've got to go away on a business trip. That's what they can say. And that they want to go on the plane. There's guys that will just book somewhere to go on that plane. Same with guys who just say, I'm going to run out to get something to eat. They go to a Hooters restaurant. They give people the safety net of not actually saying the real reason why they're going. Yeah, that right there made them a hell of a lot of money.
Honey, it was the only available flight. Yeah, sure, Kevin. After burning $40 million in 3 years, Hooters Air crashed in 2006. Not the planes, thankfully, just the business. But plot twist. While their airline was failing at altitude, their restaurants were printing money at sea level. By 2008, Hooters was pulling $500 million annually.
Ooh.
One busy location could make $3 million a year selling 200,000 wings. They were literally unstoppable. Survived the government, failed at flying, but still swimming in cash. What could possibly go wrong? Oh right, that marketing stunt I mentioned that became a lawsuit. It's time for the Toyota incident, and trust me, it's dumber than starting an airline. In 2001, a Florida Hooters manager wakes up and chooses violence. He announces a contest. Whoever sells the most beer in a month wins a brand new Toyota.
All right.
These waitresses went feral. One waitress, Jody Berry, turned into the Michael Jordan of beer sales. She was moving product like Walter White, except legal and with better shorts. April Fool's Day comes, and Jody wins. The manager blindfolds her, which should have been red flag number 1. They lead her to the parking lot. She's probably already picked her license plate, Beer Queen, or something equally tragic. Blindfold comes off. She's staring at a toy Yoda. No, not Toyota, toy Yoda. This green piece of plastic that probably came free with a Happy Meal somewhere. Jody did what any reasonable American would do. She sued them. They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount.
They kind of walked into that one. You know, if you said that to someone as a little joke, like how many beers you can sell in the next 10 minutes or whatever, but if she was grafting for a long time, you can see why she was pissed.
But reports say it was enough for her to buy any Toyota she wanted. By 2010, the restaurant started to see sales stagnate and locations close. They hadn't changed anything. In fact, they'd improved the service and food quality over the years. So what went wrong? Can you guess? Yes, you, the viewer who is watching me right now while probably eating something you shouldn't be. If you haven't figured out why, let your favorite YouTuber, Weewipedia, explain. After 2010, the world was changing fast. The new generation, millennials, they're just different. Okay, Wee.
Yeah, real snowflakes. And Hooters is the one place they probably feel isn't appropriate anymore.
And what does that have to do with Hooters? Well, I'm trying to keep this family friendly, but there's no other way to say this. Let me tell you about a certain adult website that rhymes with corn tub. This totally legitimate research website released data showing that people ages 18 to 24 were searching for, let's say, chest content significantly less than older generations. They were more into...
But corn has always been a big time problem forever. You know, ever since that stuff first came out, it's been a big time problem, especially for dudes. You know, a lot of guys are secretly addicted to it and they don't realize until they try to stop. That stuff is a big time problem. And that's not just personal with Hooters, that's across the board.
Things like authentic connections and emotional availability. Disgusting, I know. In response, Hooters tried marketing more heavily on fantasy football leagues and game day promotions, figuring cleavage wasn't the draw. Between 2012 and 2016, the number of Hooters restaurants in the US dropped by more than 7%.
Yeah.
And same-store sales flatlined harder than my heart rate during cardio. Desperate times called for desperate measures. Hooters tried everything. They modernized the decor. They added salads to the menu. Salads! And
no, they should have just kept the image. They were making millions. Millions and millions and millions with the simplicity of attractive women, chicken wings, beer, and sports. If people want other stuff, they'll go somewhere else. People that go to Hooters are going there for one thing. 99.9% of them.
Hooters. That's like adding a library to a nightclub.
Yeah.
In 2017, they launched Hoots. And no, I'm not making this up. Hoots was Hooters without the Hooters. Both
What?
men and women wore normal t-shirts and khaki shorts. But trust me, it gets even more desperate from here. In 2021,
how did they think that was going to work out?
after years of trying to appeal to families and women, Hooters management had a meeting
What families are going to Hooters?
where someone said, you know what? Let's do the exact opposite of everything we just tried. They introduced new uniform shorts that violated several laws of physics. These weren't shorts. They were a philosophical question about the minimum amount of fabric required to technically be clothing. The Hooters girls immediately went to TikTok. The videos blew up so hard that within 72 hours, Hooters announced the new uniforms were optional. Meanwhile, while Hooters was having their fabric shortage crisis, Buffalo Wild Wings quietly stole their crown as America's wing champion. How? By using this revolutionary business strategy called selling good wings. So here we are, 2025, and America's Gen X beloved Hooters.
They needed to just stay with the image they grew. Everyone knows looking at that place what they're advertising. And if they change, yeah, they're cooked.
Is filing for bankruptcy. How did we get here? Surprisingly, the big reason is not what we mentioned before, although that played a role. The real villain? Private equity. Let me explain private equity like you're 5. Imagine your lemonade stand makes $10 a day. Private equity comes in, buys your stand with borrowed money, then makes you pay back that loan from your $10. Now, you're making $10 but owe $15. Congratulations, you're broke, but they're rich. That's private equity. In 2019, they blessed Hooters with $376 million in debt. Debt from literally just existing under new ownership. Then inflation showed up like an uninvited relative. Wings became more expensive than therapy. Beer prices jumped higher than a cat seeing a cucumber. In early 2025, exactly after their 42nd anniversary, Hooters filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Happy 42nd anniversary, here's your bankruptcy papers. Now, Chapter 11 isn't we're dead bankruptcy, it's give us a minute to figure this out bankruptcy. Think of it like
They were doing so well. They were doing so well, and they literally went against everything they had advertised beforehand. Appealing to the family is probably the worst thing they could have done because it was never a family restaurant in the first place.
Pause on a video game when you're about to lose. Here's how it works. The judge basically becomes your financial therapist. The company keeps running, wings keep frying, orange shorts keep, shorting? But they get to pause their debt payments and sell stuff to raise cash. As of mid-2025, about 200 US restaurants and 60 international locations will remain open, so loyal customers can breathe easy. The orange shorts aren't going extinct.
We see now more than ever that there's a lot of feminists, a lot of people who are very upset with Hooters and what their image is all about. I don't think it's about them being angry. I think it's more jealousy than anything, to be honest. You know, I remember when times used to be fun. Everything they were doing, in my opinion, was harmless, really. It's just a bit of fun. People know why they were there. The business knew, the customer knew. It's all a bit of fun at the end of the day. And the same people want to complain. I know there's a lot of people who even worked at Hooters that complain about it. First and foremost, they applied to work there. And now more than ever, you can go out in the evening, go to any bar, nightclub. Girls are more revealed now with the way they dress than these Hooters girls. And they don't look like they're feeling regret or shame out there in the field. I think this goes along the lines of go woke, go broke. They tried to appeal to the 0.1% of people that probably went there, and it cost them a lot of money. I don't know what they were thinking. The formula was simple. They just needed to stick to it. Even if the food was crap, people would have still gone there. And all the people moaning about that place probably never went there, or they never would want to go there. That minority of people just can't see people have fun. They can't. But you guys let me know what you think. I know a lot of you have mentioned Hooters in the past, how different it is now. I'll actually be interested to hear what the environment's like and things like that. You guys have to let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.